Hey there, sparkly ones. Natural Witchery here, and today I want to talk about Hecate, specifically Cyndi Brannen's 3 books that I'm going to be talking about and sharing with you and giving you an idea on how you might use these books, what order you might want to do them in, kind of my thoughts about working with a specific deity, specifically Hecate, and my personal experience, not the experience, but my personal experience. If you're here, you're probably interested in her or interested in deity work. Maybe you're even thinking that you're hearing the call. I think that Hecate is having a resurgence. She's really kind of coming to the forefront. And it's not surprising to me because she is a goddess of the crossroads and the keys to our future, to doorways. She's a liminal goddess that stands at that cross point. And I think that right now in history, we find ourselves as a community and as a consciousness at a real turning point. And so I'm not surprised that she's coming forward. So, okay, this is her newest book. Nope, this is her newest book, Entering Hecate's Cauldron. And this one's 2025, but in 2019, she created Keeping Her Keys. This is Hecate's Modern Witchcraft. And then in 2020, I think, she created Hecate's Garden, Entering Hecate's Garden, the magic, medicine, and mystery of plant spirit witchcraft. Each one of these has a different flavor and kind of a different purpose and a different approach. First of all, if you are hearing the call at a patron deity or try working with a deity, I think Hecate is a good one to work with. But she does take you kind of deep. And Cyndi herself is completely devoted. Like, this is her patron goddess. So you're going to find that her books speak very authoritatively towards that. And just as a caveat, I want to say that while her experience is great and she's got historical aspects in all of her books as well, this is not the be-all end-all. And if something she says does not jive with you, that doesn't mean that you're wrong. It just means that the two of you are having different experiences. And I do want to say that when you're using books like this, they should be used as a springboard. It should really be about the relationship that you're building with a goddess or god at the time. So, okay, Keeping Her Keys is kind of like the principles of Hecatean witchcraft. And, you know, who is Hecate? Like, what are her symbols? What are her effigies? You know, you're going to find everything about that. And this is jam-packed with exercises to bring that home. This is a great foundation. If you have found that you, okay, so you would start with this book for one of 2 reasons. You don't know anything about her, and it's really important for you to really know about this, you know, to know about what you're getting into and know about the goddess, and you like the history and you want all that, you know, that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that you feel like, yes, I've heard the call, I've been kind of dabbling, and I feel like this is something that I need to get serious about. This is going to lay the foundations. And even if you just were to read this book and do some of the exercises, you're going to know how to engage with her. And you're going to have so many different ideas for doing that. I think that you're going to feel really prepared. If you were to actually work your way through this book, which I think would take maybe a year to do if you did it right, you're going to really develop that connection in the spiritual realm to her. Okay, but you might want to come back to this book later on if you approach witchcraft in a completely different way. So let me tell you. Entering Hecate's Cauldron. So if you are someone who's very much about like doing, you like actionable steps, you really want to get into the spell work, like actually moving your body, you like ceremonial magic, not that you don't have ceremonial things in here, but you like ceremonial magic, and this is a way that you really connect. I think actually this is the book for dipping your toe into Hecate. Whereas this book is for green witches, and it's a great way to really get into her. I think this is a great book for like, who is she? I've been kind of like hearing the call, or I'm curious. Entering Hecate's Cauldron, which is her newest 2025, is going to kind of take you there. It's got, you get a lot of this information here organized in a way that takes you into much more of the ceremonial aspect of entering into practice with her. She talks about, this isn't just rote witchcraft though, let me say that. Like, she's going to spend a good portion of the book telling you that witchcraft is not just about spells. It's about getting to the root of what's going on with you. It's about working from the inside out. I really believe that the craft is exactly that. It is knowing our sovereignty, our power, living from that, exercising, like building muscle in the spirit through different exercises to come into meaningful relationship, not only with ourselves, but in this case, with the deity. And, you know, here's Hecate in the background right here. I have worked with her. She is not my patron goddess. I do not have a patron goddess. But I have worked with her. And one of the things, this is a side note, that I feel about Hecate, and I'd be interested to see what Justin has to say about this. If you watch this, Justin, and actually hear this part, I'd love for you to do a video response on this. I'm going to tag you. To me, I feel like because Hecate is a goddess of the crossroads, you are walking a path. And then you come to a point where she exists in that space. And so, and there's part of like when you meet her at the crossroads, you meet her, you engage with her. So one of the things that I find is that she is a goddess that will kind of linger in the background until you step up to actually speak with her, to engage with her. That's been my experience. Maybe some of you have felt like overwhelmingly like she just wouldn't go away and she was up there. But to me, I feel like she is a goddess that requires you to actually step up and decide to engage. And to me, that's like kind of a part of her myth, or one of her myths. So to me, this is a way to step up. This is a way where I think Cyndi gives a good background on what magic is, on engaging in a sacred way, you know, making sure that you're being respectful. And then there's lots of different ways to engage. Here's sigil crafting, spell into form, as she calls it. I'm going to read a couple of the other chapter names. Okay, so she's got the foundations, the knowledge, the calling and the crossroads, honoring Hecate at the dark moon, unlocking Hecate's history, more. Then she moves into the craft, walking the crooked path, the apothecary, magical supplies and tools, spell crafting, connecting to the essence of the deeper world, sigil crafting, witch crafting, which is making magical creations. And then there's the mystery section, which is crossing the threshold, spirits of the deeper world, connecting with animal spirits, transcending the ordinary. That's the more the shamanic aspect of it, rituals, and then there's even initiation at the end. So if you get to the end of this book and you decide like, hey, I think I want to be a devotee, there is a way to do that. To me, this is a good toe dip. For a goddess that really isn't a toe dip kind of goddess, you know, you start working with her. Again, it's about stepping up. I really feel like she is a goddess that requires you to actually step up. I think they all do, but particularly I think she will remain silent if you are not engaging. So good way to dip your toe. If you're a green witch and you're the type of person who's going to want to be working with herbs and, the spirit of the plants themselves, this is a cool book. And it just talks about green witchcraft in a really powerful way. Talks about you know, the releasing the power of herbs through fire, through smoke, just the different ways of working with her. And then it's got different plants, like it's got plants of Persephone. Yes, and then at the end, towards the end, it's got all these different, it's kind of like little bits on different plants and working with them and their association with her. I think this is a great way if you're hands-on and you're very plant spirit, you already know that you're a green witch and you're looking for a way to interact with the green witch world, and you're feeling a call to Hecate, or you want to dip your toe into that. I think this is a great way to go. And again, if you found that this was your number one pathway in, or maybe this was your number one pathway in, and then you're like I'm in, then I would go back and I would do this, because this is going to develop all your witchcraft practices, take you to that deeper level and really allow you to, I don't know, I guess, take that final step into, I would say, covenant relationship. I did enjoy this book. I felt like this book was the most user-friendly yet that she has done. That was very, there was a softer invitation to Hecate in this book. This one's a little bit more serious, and you know, and Cyndi's a diehard, so of course she's really serious. This is really sacred to her. And then I think, you know, by far, this is the most serious and mystical of her books that really takes you into the craft itself. If you've been thinking about working with Hecate, let me know down below. Have you had some encounters? Do you work with her? Where do you find yourself in the realm of having a patron goddess? Is she your patron goddess? Are you thinking about that? Last word on patron goddesses here. But if you made it this far, leave me a dark moon down below. Okay, leave me a dark moon down below. I have worked with different goddesses over the years. Every year, actually, I usually work with a goddess for a whole year, and I allow her to choose me. I have yet to find a goddess that I am completely and entirely devoted to where I would become a priestess of that goddess. If that's something that your heart is really wanting, I just want to say it's not something you can force. It's just not. The call is the call. It comes when you're ready. My friend who was just hardcore pagan for years, a natural priestess, just did not hear the call until she turned 47. So it took a long, long time for her to get to a place in her personal magical development and where she was in her life to be able to embrace that kind of call at the level of personage that she embodied. So I would say don't rush it if you're longing to have that kind of relationship. Don't worry, it will come as time goes by. But, you know, maybe you want to reach out and try for a year. We're coming up on Samhain. Maybe, and it's a good time to pick up practice with Hecate. You know, so reach out. Maybe this is something that you want to try for a quarter. I would say you should give it a go. I would, if I was looking back to my younger self, it would be to give things a little bit more of a go and commit to things for a little longer period of time. So, you know, at least 3 months on something to get past the uncomfortable point of I'm not sure that this fits sort of thing, and get into like, okay, I'm moving past my blocks and my old stories into embracing what this could possibly mean to me. So maybe you want to give this a go. If you're interested in me talking about sort of my evolution with working with different deities and how I've done that and the tools that I've used and maybe some of the different seasons that I've been through, go ahead and let me know down below as well. And you may want to check out this video next.